We welcome the night.
Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host, Ian. Ian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Happy October. It's finally here, my buddy.
This is that time of month where we actually get new things to regularly watch.
Yes, and that is what we're here to do tonight. We are here to start the beginning. What would usually be a marathon is now locked into a special because who knows, we might do a few more than just two episodes this month because it is a special occasion, but we do kind of want to make these last. But our Halloween grab bag special, where, as I called it whenever I made the name, you never know what you're going to get when you reach into that bag. You could get a rotten apple or chocolate bar with a razor blade in it. You never know, and this is one of those things where you just never know. And we're starting off with a bang tonight with a film called Black Pumpkin from 2018, and this one, when you read the description of it, it sounds pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
Two preteens fighting off this, I think they even say it on the description, a creature, right? Like, okay, so it's going to be, and then you read about it, it's like a slasher movie. Like, okay, so it's just a Halloween slasher, but what's, this creature? And then you watch it, and you start it, and you're sitting there and like, okay, we have got ourselves a problem. And you keep watching it, and you keep watching it, and it just starts building, layering on top of layer of issues and just things that we'll be getting into very soon. And I'm just saying, this was not, it wasn't a bad watch. It's not one of the worst things we had to sit through, but it was kind of tough.
No, it definitely.
Especially to start off the the special, because usually last year, I think we kicked it off with Halloween at Aunt Ethel's, and there was so much there. And this is like, when I was even thinking of Halloween at Aunt Ethel's as well, because like this is like the total opposite of that film, because that film had like, they're going to this party, and like the teenage girls are literally in high school, and they're getting topless and having sex. And this one, it's like MTV version. Like that's, Aunt Ethel's is like Skinamax, whereas this is like made for MTV in a sense, where it's just like it kind of has those things, but they're clothed. So, nonetheless, Black Pumpkin. Okay, we start off with public domain footage, Night of the Living Dead, which is always, as soon as the film starts off with that, you know you're in for a fucking treat. And so that starts off the film because we have to steal from someone else, And this film does a lot of that. There is no doubt about it. We'll get into that. So this is the first 10 minutes. So we have a retired police officer, and he is watching this Halloween show because it's October 31st, and he's watching Night of the Living Dead, and things, he gets knocks at the door, and he keeps running back and forth from the living room to the door, and then he sees a black pumpkin in front of his door when he opens it up, and next thing you know, he gets killed, right? And he has a nosebleed. So the nosebleed is an obvious thing, and I want to bring that up, too, when we get to it a little bit later on into the film, of what could have been done better. So he gets the nosebleed, and he gets killed, right? And then his daughter comes home, and she soon gets killed as well. And we learn about this person named Bloody Bobby, who something happened, I'm assuming. Like he went missing, or he got killed and went missing. Either way, he was missing, right? And there really is no explanation of that whatsoever. Even when the two friends of Elliot and Porkchop are doing their research document, their report for their school class, like they go into this whole thing, they don't even really talk about it that much. And they just like, oh, weird things have happened here over the years, and then you get this other character involved, which we'll get into. But anyway, we got to get into this. So Bloody Bobby, he's terrorized this thing, this town of Devil's Den is the part of the woods that is sort of off limits, like don't go there. Bad things have happened. And so we have Elliot who, God, I don't know, there's so many people here. So we have Lori, who is, again, obviously not a homage to Halloween, and obviously not the beginning after the 10 years later where it starts with a point of view with a mask over the camera walking through a house menacingly, trying to sneak through the house to jump scare. There's a lot of jump scares in this, too, that's not just felt unnecessary. But they're doing an homage to many different films. So we have Lori, who is, again, she wants to go to this dance, but she has to stay at the house to give away candy, but she was supposed to watch over her brother and her sister. I thought she was supposed to take them out trick-or-treating, not just stay at the house. That's another issue I had with the film. There's like a lot of things that like supposed to happen. They totally just flipped the script on it. But anyway, I don't even know where to go. So she's supposed to do this thing. She doesn't want to. She meets up with her friends later on, and then Porkchop is like doing all this footage for the documentary for the film project for class, and like he's filming voodoo dolls tied to a tree or nailed to a tree, and then he gets chased by these two brothers who are douchebags, basically, and they call him a fat ass. They're douchebags, and they chase him, and then that's where he runs into. I just called him Jesus with a gun, and he's supposed to be the main character, not the main character, but the character in the movie that knows the history of everything. And he's like, he sees the voodoo doll and stuff like that. And then we get introduced to Elliot, and they do their school thing, and then they get a lot of views on YouTube. They become viral. And then they start hearing about Bloody Bobby from the Jesus with a Gun, and because that's what Porkchop overheard. And it just keeps going and going and going, and then all of a sudden you have Bloody Bobby showing up, and God bless its heart, bless their heart, because that's when it's supposed to turn into a slasher film, and that made me think of a story, and I have to go into this story before we get into the review because it's integral. A long time ago, I wouldn't say a long time ago, but when I was a teenager, I want to say 2000. It was before the mall became near me. There's a theater in it now, but before that, around I want to say 2006, 2007 is when the theater opened up in the old closed down Farmore in the mall, and so years before it turned into a theater, they had one haunted house, right? And so I decided, you know what, I want to go in there. I haven't been to a haunted house in many years. And so it was me and my grandmother. And again, I'm in high school. I think I was still in high school or a few years after. And I decided, you know what, let's do this. Let's do something fun. So me and her go through this. And, you have everything. You have Freddy Krueger jumping out of the freezer doors, knocking them out. And, you have at the very end of it, you had Leatherface guarding the exit with the revved-up chainsaw. And you just, you're wondering, where's Michael Myers? And so you get to the Michael Myers section, right? And oh no, here comes Michael Myers. And bless the heart, here comes a kid. He's about 4'8", in Michael Myers garb and a mask, holding a plastic knife. And you're just looking down at Michael Myers, and you just can't help but snicker and laugh, they really did this. And because you're looking down at Michael Myers, and in Black Pumpkin, you're looking down at Bloody Bobby because it's basically a 4'8", 4'11" child in Halloween garb with a pumpkin mask, attacking people with a knife, and you just they went that way, they went that way. And it just brought back that memory of just that haunted house, seeing tiny Michael Myers and seeing tiny Bloody Bobby. And it's just bless their heart, because there's something about this movie, it's a giant homage to everything. This director, Ryan, I believe Ryan something was his name, and he pulled everything out of the hat that he loves, right? You have the obvious Halloween-inspired opening, right? And then, of course, the mask on the camera. Elliot, he likes E.T. because the kid from E.T. is named Elliot. Of course, Laurie is his sister, Laurie Strode. Carpenter is the teacher's name.
Oh my God, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, so John Carpenter. And then you have, you brought up Trick or Treat with the knocking on the door at the beginning,
and
with Sam.
And in the garage when they pull off the sheet with the lights around the girl, that was literally almost scene for scene from Trick or Treat. And I was like,
it could be Black Christmas too, the original Black Christmas, because I remember she was wrapped up in lights as well. So there's all these beats. There's again, a van sequence that's obviously in every slasher movie, and you just have this 4 foot, under 5 foot killer, and it's just we're really scared of something like that. I mean, it really throws a wrench in the plans of trying to make this, a slasher you can get behind, because it's just you just really can't. Because I mean, I can understand if it's a Killer Kid movie, I mean, I can get behind that. But this one, they really don't give you much information on Bloody Bobby. I mean, the one thing
hardly
I
at all.
appreciate is the nosebleeds, because when he comes along, the person that in his general area, I guess whenever his presence is there, they start having a nosebleed, right? And I like that aspect of it, and I wish they kind of done a little bit more with it, maybe he had nosebleeds as a kid, sort of how,
I think
Valentine.
they said something like that, actually, in the YouTube not YouTube, video,
Yeah.
I think
The
he said
report.
that, that he would get bullied so bad, and then, I don't know if they, kids busted his nose and made it bleed, but I do remember them saying something about nosebleeds.
Yeah.
But
it's just like they don't give you
second.
really that much information to go on. And even him coming back is just like, that's how you're going to bring him back, is because Porkchop nailed 2 voodoo dolls onto a tree and, you called him back. I don't think he called him back at the beginning. He was just like, this is going to be great footage, And then he gets attacked, and then they did the whole, that's my purse, I don't know you, from King of the Hill, when the brothers start attacking him and he kicks him in the balls before the chase happens. But, Ian, I want you to get your point in, and then we'll go back and forth on it, because I know I went a little lengthy there, and we really still haven't got into this film that much. But your points, and then we'll dig deeper into this.
Well, I didn't think it was bad. I mean, it kind of, honestly, this probably could have been, more adult, teen-oriented, Goosebumps. That's just the feeling I got, because it was once we got
I told you it felt like it was a Christian-made movie, even though it's not, because you have the sex and you have the cursing and you have some of the blood, but it just had that weird sort of Christian mentality of the way, as you said, a Goosebumps or feel to it, but it's just it wasn't really that. It's like the MTV style, in a sense, made for movie. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just needed to get that
you're fine.
out of there.
That was a point I was going to bring up too. Just felt like a direct to, not even a direct to DVD, just made for TV, movie. And I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. The acting was.
It's like
the
that
acting
Ghoul
was not
that was
bad.
on Chiller. You remember? Did you ever watch that Ghoul from Chiller TV when it came out? It was very, very like that, but way more bloodier.
No, I didn't. I didn't have Chiller growing up. I barely even had. I had antenna TV growing up.
Well, it was
but
it was on the channel on TV. Oh, never mind. But go on. I'm breaking your concentration. I'm sorry.
You're all right. But no,
I keep forgetting I'm older,
Yeah, it's a fine movie. It kind of gets it feels like it does kind of know where it wants to go, but they just filled in a bunch of plot points with different movie references. And I mean, I get that. I like movies that pay homage to certain things, but I was just sitting there, now I'm just looking for almost toward the end, I'm just I'm looking for all the movies I can think of that they're literally copying each scene from, which is hard to not do, but with the names and
scenes,
the guy blowing out the pumpkin, that was pretty iconic in Trick or Treat. And I was just sitting there, I was just huh. But I thought, I mean, after the initial shock of the killer, little tiny, especially his the noises he made when he was killing people cracked me up. I was sitting there laughing. And I was okay, after the shock wore off, and I was really? I started getting a little bit more into it once everything finally started happening. I felt like there was a lot of talking in that movie, but not so much to, bore you to death. But, I think it could have been trimmed down.
It's 90 minutes, but it's an hour and 24, take away credits, and it does, because you're just sitting there where is this going? You're just you're kind of on board with it just to see where it goes. Sadly, it doesn't really pull through that much because, again, we don't want to really get into that part yet. But, like, it just leaves off like, oh, finally, and then like, oh, psych.
Yeah. And I did not like the last scene of the movie. I didn't. I was like, okay, so, you know, it just kind of just ends. I mean, nothing really got solved, and I guess that's because they want to set up a sequel or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it doesn't need one. Also, like, I mean, if they do a sequel, then we better get more in depth of, like, what the hell happened. Because, like, it's like he was bullied, and now he's a supernatural, demonic being? Like, that doesn't make sense. I guess he's like a vengeful ghost or something, but...
Yeah, like, you don't really... He just went missing. Like, did he just die? Did someone kill him? Like, what happened? You know, you don't know this. And so you're just left with this under 5-foot killer and cut up Halloween costume and a pumpkin mask with a knife going he while killing people, and he can teleport. You get nosebleeds when he's around. I don't understand him. And like, you have the Jesus with a gun who knows this, like it was his brother. No, his brother was missing, or something about his brother, like, was his friend or something. I don't know, because it's just randomness, sort of, like, to get from scene to scene to builds up to really nothing, because, as you know, we mentioned, there's not really much of a payoff, and it's just like you're still sitting there like, wait, what happened? You know, even like, how did he come back again with the voodoo dolls? Like, what? You're just sitting there like trying to piece it together, and like, it's all there, but like, one piece is oversized and the other ones are all normal size, and like, well, the piece doesn't fit, but it's there.
Right.
You know, it can go into...
Like, they really should have just took a little bit of time. I think, like, and cut down a couple of the random talking scenes and added more links to that one YouTube video. That one YouTube video that they watched would have probably cleared up the whole thing.
And, like, they don't do anything with it. Like, oh, look, his video's viral. Oh, you're shitting me. No, it's viral. I'll be damned. They don't do anything.
I was hoping for like a giant, like that to entice like a ton of people to go up there and like party, and they just all get slaughtered. Like, that's what I was expecting. That would have been cool. But I was like, wait, then what is the point of this? Like, what is... Like, it made it feel like a super strong plot point. Like,
and why is it like this house? You know, because it's like the police. He killed the police guy in the beginning and his daughter at the house. So was that like his house previously, or was the cop the one that killed him? And now he's back for revenge. And then like what the little boy Porkchop? You know, Porkchop was the one that did it. It wasn't Elliot. So
no,
he shouldn't be going after the Lori and Elliot. He should be going after Porkchop, which kind of he did. But it's just like, it's totally off its rocker. Like, he shouldn't be going after this unless, like, oh, the people are living in the house with the cop that killed me or something. Like, they don't even, there's like no semblance of anything to make sense of like, why. Because he starts attacking, knocking on the door when Lori is giving out candy. And like, oh, he's there now. Like, why is he after the sister? The sister wasn't, she didn't have anything to do with it unless it's just related to the brother, and it's like a domino effect. Like, oh, it links to Porkchop, it goes to Elliot, and now it goes to Lori. So okay, and it goes to the sister for some reason. I don't know. There's just
probably
a lot.
To cut back on locations.
It falls apart.
It really does. Like a pulled pork sandwich. Just falls to pieces once you start picking at it. But I mean, the movie is like I just want it just needed, I think, a few extra minutes, and I think there would be less questions. But of course, that's how it goes. Like they add one thing that you don't need, and then they're like, "Oh, we're going to try to surround this in mystery."
The whole dance stuff, like, "Oh my God, my friends are dead." Like, well, no shit.
Did the mom die? Because I
have no idea what the fuck happened to the mom. She went to work, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really sure, because I don't know if I was being distracted, but who was the girl that died in as Jesus with a gun house? Like, or place, when he walks in and opens that door and that woman's there, dead. Was it that one?
No idea.
I was very confused because it just happened so quick that, like, I didn't even have time to, like, fully process, like, who it was. And then he rolls down the stairs, and you think he's dead, and you're like, "Nope, I'm not dead. Just a little beat up." It's like,
I have no idea. I still don't understand the whole point. Like, oh, I'm supposed to go to a dance with my boyfriend, who's the football player, has a leg injury, and you can't do that. You got to watch your brother and sister. Well, the brother and sister in pork chop go out, and she's there at the house handing out candy. Like, shouldn't she be with? Like, that's the whole point of, like, oh, I got to go into work. You got to stay and watch your brother and sister, and like they're out doing their stuff by themselves. Like, that's not. I don't know if that's what they intended to do or not. Like, that just didn't make any sense. Like, oh, they're not home. So we're going to go to the dance now, and they're still out on the streets at night. And
right
now like, oh, they're fine. And like, what's the whole point of the fucking going to work and not being able to go to the dance in the first place? What was the point?
And that kind of confused me because, like, it was just like a big switch. Like, I can't go to the dance. Oh, I can't. Also, how they made sure that we knew the main character was a virgin was so dumb. Like, that girl that just randomly attacks Lori, or whatever his name is, I just forgot. When that girl attacks her, it was like, Halloween is evil! And then, like, you're like, I started thinking, maybe she's the killer. Because if she hates Halloween, it might make her psycho or something. Who fucking knows? Movie logic. And then they just went, they just kicked her out. Like, oh no, her and Flash had sex when they first started dating, and then she got really Christian-y. And they're like, oh yeah, you must know all about that. She's like, nope, I'm a virgin. I'm going to give my virginity to him on Halloween. Nope. Because instead of doing this and actually going to a fucking dance, I'm just going to, just go to that dance. Oh no, we're late. I was like, that makes almost a huge chunk of the plot point pointless. Like, to get to this point. And I was like, oh, she's a virgin. She's going to live. And I was like, all the virgins live.
It wasn't a mess of a movie, but like I said, there's just a lot of things just did not work with what they were trying to achieve. And it just definitely, especially with Bloody Bobby and, like, some of the plot points there, and just, like, the Elliot and Pork Chop and their banter back and forth. Like, if they didn't really give much of, like, who the central character is. Like, is it Lori or is it Elliot? Like, I mean, they kind of go back and forth where it's kind of both of them, but, like, Lori doesn't really have anything to do with it because she's not the one interested in Bloody Bobby. She wants to lose her virginity to her boyfriend. And then you have Pork Chop and Elliot, who's, like, the main central focus that should be pertinent on the freaking Bloody Bobby, but it's not. until like the last 20
right.
minutes where the gun comes in. Like, oh, you did all this. Like, that would have been good fucking 40 minutes ago if you said that when you first saw the voodoo doll outside your door. But no, you got to wait 2 days later and run into him at night in front of a church.
Yeah,
that's not creepy.
It really is just odd, like the choices they made. It's like they didn't really know what they were going for.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like they knew the direction they were going in. They just didn't know how to get there.
It's like
they met their goal, I guess.
These homages and these scenes, and they were just worked around those. Like, okay, this is how we're going to do the lawnmower scene from Sometimes They Come Back Again, and then we're going to be able to do this scene from Trick or Treatin' Black Christmas in the garage, and then we're going to have the door from the garage door, and we're going to do the scene from Scream where Rose McGowan gets stuck in a garage door.
I just like really.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend just got stabbed in the chest. I'm going to go find the guy and beat him up. I mean, she might be dying, but hey, I'm going to go find the psycho that's going around killing people with like a bat, but it didn't look like a metal bat. I thought it was a wiffle bat, and I had to, oh my God, it was.
No, it was a foam bat. It was one of those that has like the plastic in the middle and the foam around it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
one of those softball sort of bats.
But that was just hilarious, just seeing him hold that toy-looking bat. I'm gonna go kill him. Oh, they might have a gun. Did you think about that?
And apparently, again, Bloody Bobby has super strength too, because he's able to carry the friend, the black girlfriend, from her house to Lori's house and her garage without being noticed.
I just wanted to see people's reaction to that, just watching, like, because unless they teleported, I just always think about that in movies, just like the process of getting from point A to point B. Just like, did he walk down the street? Probably just thought it was a kid holding a realistic-looking prop.
I mean, I
don't know.
I guess they're sort of neighbors. I don't know. They don't even really say if they're like close, if they live that far apart. So I mean, they could be like right across the road. I mean, it wouldn't be that far, but still, they don't really say that. And again, it's a nitpick. It's one of those things like, it's not really nothing that bad. I mean, but it's just like, it's still kind of a odd one.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think I went in expecting something different, 100% based on the promotion picture that I saw.
Yeah.
With the
the picture, the poster image, and the synopsis, and I was like, okay, this looks all right. And then once Uncorked pop up on the screen, like, well, there goes all my expectations because I know Uncorked.
I actually said, I was like, well, there that goes. I just saw Uncorked, and I was like, ooh, I started to turn it on. I had a big smile because I was like, oh, all right, I'm ready. And I saw Uncorked, and I was like, oh, God. I was like, well.
We know quality. Uncorked.
I was like, well,
people have brought you
this movie might be shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than some of the ones we've watched by them. Definitely not one of the best, but
no.
Low expectations. Oh God.
It's like it's like like a menu item when you see it. Like, oh man, that looks great, from the picture, because they spruce up the image on the commercial on TV, and then finally when you get it, it's a hunk of shit and falling apart. Well, Jesus.
Like a McDonald's McChicken.
I was thinking about those new taco taco sandwich, chicken sandwich things from Taco Bell, where like they look like they're like this big thing, and then you get it and it's like a wet fart. I'm like, well, that's
right.
$2.50 wasted.
But like it could have been worse. So I'm just
for what it is, it's not like we said. It's not the worst thing we've had to sit through. All right. I understand the director and wanting to do everything that he saw previously done before in films that he's enjoyed. I mean, it's obvious, all right?
Passion project.
Yeah. He wanted to go out there, and, like, again, all power to you, you got your film out there, and you got it distributed by Uncorked. I mean, that's not a tall task to do. I mean, I'm sure I can shit out something in the toilet and send it to Uncorked, and they'll put it out on a disc as well. But at least he got it out there, right? And for what it is, it's fine. It's not going to be no new Halloween staple to watch anytime soon. It's like if you're bored and there's nothing else there, and like, okay, whatever. I mean, it kind of falls apart a little bit, and as you've heard in our review, but still, it's not the worst. And what they do with the sequel is going to be crazy, because I don't know where you're going to go with that. But I'm sure they have a plan because it's in development. So, yeah.
It's probably going to be one of those that they say they're in development, but they never do it.
I'm sure it's been in development. They couldn't do anything because of everything that's happened with the world, but
yeah,
it's not going to stop Louisa. It's not going to stop Louisa. Louisa's going to put stuff out, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get Louisa to make a sequel to it.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
God, man. I can't wait. Louisa, I can't wait for your next project whenever it comes out. I love that woman. I don't know why. I just have a fucking fondness for her.
I think it's because of, like, she's just like, I don't care if I put out shit. I'm just putting it out because I want to. And it's like, I got to give her props at least. Like, she does what she wants. She does her best. I mean, you can tell she puts a lot of effort and heart into it. Just because it sucks and it's not very good doesn't mean, like, at least she tried. And she's like,
it's not her fault that all her films are technically the same script, and the same characters just rearranged. It's not her fault that she decides to go that route. I mean, if shit sticks to the wall, throw more shit,
Exactly. Just like there's been a couple of movies that she's made. It's not as bad as the others.
No.
But it's just that
there's probably like two that's like average. Maybe one that's like her best, which is Pagan Warrior. And that's a high order of everything else that you have to go through.
I mean, compared to other movies, it might be shit, but compared to her movies, but at least like, especially you think that she has the same cast. It's like, hey, I like you, like we're great, we're cool, but keep casting me. I'll play any dumb role you want me to. But have you thought maybe like getting beta readers for your scripts?
Or just another pass at it. First draft isn't always the best.
Yeah. Sometimes I think she does do her first draft. But,
No, obviously. Come on, dude. There's no doubt about it. I hate that we had to go on this freaking tangent of Louisa Warren films, but it's just we're always going to fucking talk about her because we went through so much hell watching her stuff. She was a very prominent role of We got to know her pretty damn well last year during the quarantine, so I'm just saying, like, we became fucking good friends for a couple months there. It's still going.
Whatever, like, more power to her.
Yeah.
At this point, we're just might as well. And it's funny, too, especially considering that, like, we didn't even know we were watching her movies until, like, you looked it
then
up.
You look back like, oh, my God, we reviewed all her shit. You know, I was like, well, we might as well keep going until we know our whole entire filmography. And we're close. We're close. I've seen a few more besides that Ian hasn't seen, and that's how I know some of them are exact rip-offs of their fucking same films. But that's Louisa.
Yep. God love her.
Going back to that abusive boyfriend, girlfriend, for like, darn it's dirty, but we love you.
But you know,
we're going off on a tangent.
If they end up making a sequel to Black Pumpkin, I think I will watch it, even if it isn't for our show, just to see if they pulled off what they wanted to do with the first one.
Will the sister walking around in her panties lose her virginity? Find out.
Okay, that was weird. Like, she just kept, I was like, obviously the guy has a thing for teenage girls. Because they were all, like that one girl that was putting on her panties. It was, showing, took off the cotton and putting on the lace. And it's like, why are we... I was like, okay. I was like, first off, these are supposed to be high school girls, so I'm feeling weird. I was like, I'm kind of getting a little uncomfortable with all of this, high school girls and just random, in their panties. That girl just ran outside in her underwear and knee-high socks, and I was like, okay.
And then Pork Chop sitting there looking at her in her panties, checking her out, oh, he's family. Oh, yeah.
It's just we have guests. Oh, I don't mind. Yeah, and they all looked at it yeah, I bet you don't. I mean, also, she wasn't, the only one that I didn't believe was an actual teenager. Because she looked older for high school. They tried to young her down a little bit. But I was just seriously, before we got introduced, that was her sister. I was like, is that the mom's, shitty lover? And I was like, oh, no, that's your sister. Oh, okay. I thought they were the same age. My bad.
Oh, man.
I felt like
what the things we have to go through, Ian, and then the conversations that stem from it. I mean, I love it. I mean, you just never know what you get, and especially with this one, with the grab bag, you never know. And that's the one thing I love about these shows is I just love them because the conversations that stem from it and just where we go, it's just it's crazy, and I just love it. But nonetheless, Ian, we're getting down to the bare last few minutes of the show here, and I'm just going to call it early. I think we discussed as much as we could, and then we went on to a Louisa tangent, and then yeah.
Oh yeah.
But nonetheless, for what it is, it's nothing great. I mean, like I said, it falls apart quick, and if you just look at it as a passion project and wanting to do some homage to films that the director liked and wanting to do his own version of them, that's what this film is basically for 90 minutes in a way. And it's again, not the worst thing out there. It's nothing really you need to go out and see anytime soon. I hate to say that. I mean, everyone can make their own choice, but it's just it's not one of those it's must watch. I mean, even if it's on Tubi, which it is, it's not one of those
Tubi for free.
I can scroll past this. Yeah. But we do it because we do the specials and the marathons, and we always try to bring to light these weird films, and that's definitely one that stood out. But who knows what the next one will bring? But I'm always looking forward to it. So Ian, as always, it's great talking with you, and I will see you next time. So thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you on the next episode of Horror Night Oasis.
Good night.